This Minute with Mary. Do you suffer with darkness under your eyes or your concealer looking like it's cakey and getting all stuck underneath your delicate under eye skin? If so, this is the video for you. In case you don't know me, hi, my name's Mary Larson. I'm a mom of two, a musician, married to my best friend with whom I podcast about all sorts of nerdy things regarding books and films and TV shows. But I also love to help people feel more confident and creative when it comes to their makeup and their skincare. I had gotten a request recently from a friend of mine named Becky who said, "Hey Mary, I want some tips and tricks on how to better conceal underneath my eyes." So that's what this video is about. I have clean skin. I just tied my hair back a little bit. And I'm gonna get into this. But before I do, I would love it if you could do me a favor. If you're watching this on the replay, you know that because the live button isn't up above. I'm dropping everything. I've got the dropsies today. The live button isn't up above, so you can put hashtag replay. That way I can see your comment and I can come back and say a little hello to you. If you are also watching, you can also type in hashtag hello lovely. That's your little way to wave to me over the internet, because sometimes it's lonely just speaking to a camera. So if you're watching, put hashtag hello lovely. I won't I won't expect anything more than that, aside from you just giving me a little wave, a little high five over the webs, and I'm here to say hello lovely to you as well. Hi Rachel, how are you? Thanks so much for tuning in. All right, so dark under eyes. First things first, your under eye skin is the thinnest skin on your face. The rest of your skin has got a little bit more thickness to it, but under your eyes is super, super thin. So we want to take extra special care of that skin. What you see me wearing right now are my eye masks. You can find all of the products that I'm demonstrating with today right at minutewithmary.com, and I'll let you know which ones are included in a sale. Lisa, thank you so much. I really appreciate you checking on in and saying little hello. And we got somebody else saying hello lovely, but I couldn't see who it was because sometimes Facebook's mean. Sometimes Facebook's mean, friends. So we're going to make sure that I can see you and make sure that I've got everything so I can say little hellos properly. Come on. All right, I'm going to figure this on out. All right, so I've got my under eye masks on. Now, these under eye masks are kind of my quick fix for physical bagginess under your eyes. If your eyes are really dry, if you've got fine lines, they are a quick fix. If you look at yourself in the mirror and you look like the Grim Reaper and you do not have specific skincare for your under eyes, this is going to be something you might want to check on out. What it does is it tightens up your skin. It brightens, it adds massive hydration. You wear it for about 10 to 15 minutes. So what I do is I do all my regular skincare, I plop these on, and then I brush my teeth, or I go and I do my hair. I love to also do my eyeshadows while I have these under eye masks on. It's gonna really saturate and hyper put some serum right into that skin. I also find that it makes all of these pores super small. So if you have large pores right here next to your nose, it's also gonna shrink those little puppies up. Now, if you wear this for 10 to 15 minutes, you are going to see some great results that are going to last you throughout the day. If you wear it sparingly, you will not necessarily have long-term results. This is going to be like fixing up your under eyes that day. However, if you wear it every single day, you are going to start to see some long-term results. The other thing that I like to do for underneath my eyes, and I'm going to take these, and for people who join late, they're going to be like, what is Mary doing? You can also take it and flip it around because there's serum on the other side, and you can use it on your forehead lines. I have a lot of people who use it on their 11sies. You can even use it, are these called marionette lines or smile lines? A lot of people even use it here. So sometimes people will just flip it around and put it on a different area of their face. I'm just doing this to show you that you can do that. So what this did is it tightened, it brightened, and it super hydrated my skin. After I have used those eye masks, after or instead, you can of course use your eye cream. So eye cream is going to give you long-lasting results. This is going to add massive hydration, help tighten, help brighten. It's got special ingredients inside of it to really help make sure that that skin, which is ever so delicate, gets everything that it needs. And honestly, I like to even bring it up on top of my hooded eye because I do have hooded eyelids. Friends, tell me, how are you doing? How are you doing today? What's the weather like near you? The weather near me is stunning. It is absolutely stunning. So pretty. So I cannot wait to go out and about. Today is my big day. My kids have chorus and then I have wind ensemble. So all the things. I'm gonna go get my BCI done, my background check, as I'm helping out in different schools this year. So I need to make sure that all of that stuff is up to snuff. All right, so when it comes to concealer, your skincare is key. Okay, if you're just putting concealer on bare skin, it's not going to be as great as it can be versus if you're putting it on cleansed and hydrated skin. So my under eyes right now are just like prime for makeup because they're like super, super hydrated. So remember, if your skin's already kind of like got some grit to it, it needs some hydration. So add that eye cream or do some kind of a serum. I promise you it's going to be so much easier of an application. Next, when it comes to having your under eyes have success, is having some kind of like light primer. So some kind of a hydrating primer is going to allow the product to have a little bit more grip without it being like too harsh and too hard. When we're putting on foundation on our face, foundation often goes from like light coverage to fuller coverage. And people who choose more fuller coverage, sometimes they just apply it everywhere, including under their under eye skin. If you're younger and you don't necessarily have crepiness and darkness and like a lot of texture under your eyes, you can do whatever you want to do. But I will tell you that as we get older and our body stops creating as much collagen, we lose kind of some of the plumpness in that area. That skin is really delicate and fine, and you don't want to put too many layers. Think of like a Jenga game with all those different layers of that stack of blocks. And when you're younger, all of the stacks are filled in, but as we get older and we lose some of our collagen, we lose some of our elasticity, we lose some of the plump underneath our eyes, the more layers that you add on top of that Jenga table with all those little holes, it's more likely to topple over, right? Your makeup will not look as good. So the less layers under your under eye skin, the better. So if I were to be doing my foundation first, I would not necessarily be going underneath my eyes. If I know I'm going to be choosing concealer, I would do the concealer and use minimal, if any, foundation underneath my eyes. Less is more when it comes to your under eye skin. I personally like to do my concealer first because then I can blend it in seamlessly to my foundation, so I don't have like reverse panda kind of situation going on. I like to choose a concealer that's either my skin tone or a shade lighter, but I will tell you, if you're doing more of a light to medium coverage foundation, you might want to choose a concealer that essentially matches your foundation. Little goes a long way. So you already saw I used my Prime and Set Mist on my face, and that acts as my primer, and I just put one little dot right there. I'll put one little dot here. Now I know I'm going to be going in on this spot. I had some skin work done, so I know that my foundation will cover that, but if I wanted to, I would take that same concealer right there and do that. Now here's where the magic happens. You can see I used very, very little concealer. Tell me, if you use concealer, do you use this much? Do you use less? Or do you use more? Let me know down there in those comments. Do you use this much? Do you use less? Or do you use more when it comes to concealer? So you can do a couple of things. You can take your ring fingers of your hands, if you like to use your hands. You could use some kind of a more densely packed concealer brush. You can use also a damp blending bud, so one of those little blending sponges. Don't make sure it's not dry. You get it under the water, you make sure it's really nice and sopping wet, and you squeeze out all the excess water, and now it's also good to use. For those of us who have crepiness under our eyes, I like to go back in actually with a little bit more setting spray mist. You can either spray it directly on your face, or you could spray it on your finger or on that damp blending bud. And what this is going to do is it's going to thin out your concealer just a smidge while setting it. So setting spray is almost like a hairspray for your makeup. Without all the tackiness and the harshness to it, it locks the makeup in. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to tell the concealer, stay here, and don't wiggle around into my fine lines. Please don't go into the valleys of my skin. Just cover where I need it to be covered, please, and don't move, right? So as I'm pressing gently with the ring finger, once again, the lightest touch out of all my fingers. Piano players know what I'm talking about. Guitar players, saxophone players like myself, we know the ring finger is the weakest of the fingers. So I'm just lightly tapping, and you tap until the tackiness is gone. That's how you know your concealer has set. So I'm not going into my crow's feet area, not going around there. I'm just going right more in this inner corner and where I had that discoloration. You can see it's already helped conceal some of that area. Now I have a little bit left kind of underneath where the physical bag is. I use a little bit more so I can cover my acne. Yes, exactly, Rachel. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take a smidge, because remember what I said, less is more when it comes to your concealer. So start with a little bit, blend it out, let it set, feel it until the tackiness is gone, whether that's with a brush or a blending bud or your fingers, and then you just kind of spot treatment anything extra that you need with one of the same ways. Finger, I'm going to try it right now with just a little bit of a brush. So same thing, wherever you place the concealer first is the most saturated. So place the concealer where it is darkest, where you need it the most, and then blend it out from there. Use very little, and you can even let it sit for a moment. You see how I'm letting this one sit for a little bit? I'm just letting it settle, letting it get adjusted to the temperature of my skin, and then I will press it out from there. So as I said, if you find that it is moving and a grooving, my first thing to suggest to you is to use less. If you're using too much, it honestly may be too heavy for the folds of the skin. Ideally, your concealer is going to pack a punch. Ideally, it's going to have some really good coverage to it, so you don't need to use that much. And then also you can use a setting spray to really lock it in. Tap it until it is set. You can also use, after you're done, kind of like a powder brush like this right here. It's just a clean side of my powder brush, or once again, a blending bud, or just the pads of your ring finger. And this is just tapping. Once again, making sure it's set, doing it until it's done. So as you can see, I'm looking up. Sometimes if we're looking straight or we're, doing all those things, the folds of our eyelids will already be folded. So if you're looking up, it's just naturally kind of keeping that skin straight, so you don't have all those little folds. And there you go. So you can see the line from where I've had that concealer. I chose a concealer that more matches my skin tone, and now when I add my foundation, it's gonna blend it away. If I did my concealer after my foundation, I would just be making sure that I blended that out a little bit. So those are some great concealer tips and tricks for you if you're finding that around your eyes it's giving you some difficulty, it's not laying the way that you want it to. Less is more. Utilize a prime and set mist if you can to help thin it out and to lock it in place. Use one of those tools, your fingers, a concealer brush, or a damp blending bud, and pat it until it's done setting. Really just place it in the spot that you need it the most. Let it sit there for a moment to really adjust to your body temperature and to kind of get settled, and then blend it out from there. So Rachel says, since I use the eye cream, I haven't had to put too much concealer on my under eye area, right? So exactly. So skincare is going to help alleviate a lot of the problems, but also doing your skincare and eye cream right before you apply your concealer is going to create a really nice hydrated, little hydration sandwich, a little hydration medley, versus if I put my eye cream on hours and hours ago and then I tried to put on my concealer, it might be a little more dry than had I done it right away. So that's what I recommend, is if you do have some kind of an eye cream or eye serum routine, do that and then go into your concealer, so that way you can lock it all in and it can have that beautiful hydrated surface to work with. All right, so on that note, I'm gonna let you go and finish my face, because I did title this video for your eye cream issues. If you ever have any questions, whether you purchase products at minutewithmary.com and you have a question on how to apply it or use it, or if you have questions about other products, please feel free to message me. I love having topics to help and discuss about on videos like this one. I really appreciate my friend Becky for letting me know that this was a question of hers, and I hope that you have an amazing day. Thanks for tuning into this Minute with Mary. I'll see you all soon. Take care. Bye.